welcome back to another video of Personal Finance New Zealand with your host, Labuschagne. And today we're talking about mobile phone plans. Now you may think, don't you just look at, okay, what's the cheapest monthly price and go with that, or whatever your broadband is? Well, actually it's a bit more complicated than that, and I've noticed a lot of the couple other videos that there are and some of the aggregation websites that miss out some of the providers, and it's just really not very accurate. So in this video we're doing a full deep dive on the whole mobile plan cell networks in New Zealand. So let's go. So firstly, coverage. This is the first question you should ask. If you're in a suburban area or in most towns in New Zealand, you should be fine with any of the three main networks, which are Spark, 2 Degrees and One New Zealand, formerly Vodafone. But if you need specifically 5G, or you're in a rural area, or you're just really not sure based on what other people have said in your area, it's kind of spotty with particular providers, definitely go ahead and look at some of the coverage maps. So, you just can go on here, you can choose, what you need, 3G, 4G, 5G, you can zoom into whatever area you need and just check that. Another really good website to check is this CanstarBlue article that I found, and they actually go through every single region in New Zealand, and they give you very descriptive explanations of what the coverage is like for each of these main physical networks in New Zealand, and as well as the 5G capability in those areas. So if you need specific coverage, or in a rural location, definitely check that first. Cool. So the next thing is, once you've figured out the coverage and what main network you need, then you can have a look at all the providers. So the providers are under the Warehouse Mobile, or under the 2 Degrees network, there's Warehouse Mobile, so they use the same physical network. Under the Spark physical network, you've got Skinny, Slingshot, Compass and Orcon. And under the One New Zealand network, we have ComCom Mobile and MyRepublic. So those are all the mobile carriers that I could find in New Zealand. And just a quick note on Slingshot, Compass and Orcon, they actually all only offer mobile plans if you already have internet with them. So if you do, then watch out for those numbers as we go through them in the video, but otherwise probably disregard that. Okay, so what plan do you actually need? So in most situations you should really just be using free public Wi-Fi, or if you're at home you should have Wi-Fi. So a lot of time using an actual SMS or calling someone using the actual cell phone network system is kind of unnecessary. But obviously if you're out and about and you need data or whatever, you're going to need a mobile phone plan. So how much do you actually need? How much data? How many minutes? All that kind of thing. Well, actually it's probably less than you think. And what I did is I went through my last couple months of usage and I just calculated some averages for data, text and minutes, as you can see here on the screen. And I'm really not using all that much. So once you figure that out, you can kind of start hunting for the right mobile plan for you. Just as out of interest, I looked up what's the average data, minutes and text used in New Zealand, and according to this Commerce Commission annual telecommunications monitoring report, they found that the average monthly usage was 4.2 gigabytes of data, 171 minutes and 119 texts. So there you go, just in case you were wondering. So before we get into the actual mobile plans, there is a few other options you can try. Firstly, if you can get a mobile plan for free through your workplace, that's a no-brainer. Definitely go for that and ignore the rest of this video. But if you are someone that barely uses their phone and you just want to get away with paying as little as possible for your phone every month, then you may be able to use just casual rates. So looking at the casual rates, you can look at all the details on your screen now, but pretty much Warehouse Mobile by far and away has the cheapest casual rates. If you just want to get away with, you can even spend less than $2 a month just paying for every text and minute that you use. With Warehouse Mobile, you do have to buy a data pack. You can't just use per megabyte, but it's very affordable, as you'll see later. Speaking about data packs, let's look at the prices for this. So this is quite hard to compare because different companies offer different size data packs and different terms and conditions, but I've tried to all aggregate it into one kind of standard table. And once again, you can pause, look at the details if you want, but generally Warehouse Mobile, once again, if you just want to buy straight up data for the month, then they offer the cheapest price. So for minute packs, often you don't really need it because most of the plans have quite a bit of minutes or unlimited minutes. But once again, here you can see Warehouse Mobile by far is the cheapest minutes if you just want to buy that as a separate add-on. And very quickly, text packs. Again, most plans offer unlimited text as soon as you start paying a couple bucks a month anyway. But here again, Warehouse Mobile offers $4 for unlimited text, and you can see how that compares to some of the big players. Now, a quick word on roaming, international calls, that kind of thing. So I've spent a little bit of time comparing the different casual rates and just normal rates for roaming and using data and calls and stuff overseas. And pretty much what I found is it's just expensive across the board. So what I would recommend is actually just getting a local SIM and phone number, and you'll find that's actually better for traveling anyway. People in the country like to just call a local number. And if you're calling people from New Zealand, overseas, just use the internet, use WhatsApp, Messenger, whatever it might be. It's just going to be far cheaper than trying to use the traditional landline systems. Alright, now we get into the meat of it. So let's say you can't quite get by just using casual rates. You actually need a little bit of data, just a little bit of text, a little bit of minutes, and that's kind of where I'm at. Like, what's the lowest monthly amount you can get away with? So it turns out, again, Warehouse Mobile, absolutely the cheapest. Skinny does offer the same price here, but Warehouse Mobile offers more minutes on the same price, so obviously you'd go with that. And notice as well, I've broken these down even as a price per year. So a lot of people don't know this, but if you are being billed every 28 days, you actually end up paying essentially one extra month every year, or 13 payments total for the year. And for 30-day plans, that's like slightly more than 12. It's not too negligible, but yeah, so if you look at the price per year, still Warehouse Mobile is the cheapest. Moving right along, we have anywhere between 1 and 2.5 gigs of data. And long story short, ComCom Mobile is actually the cheapest in this category. For $15, you can get 1.5 gigs, unlimited everything else every 30 days. So no brainer there. Moving along to 2.5 to 4 gigabytes of data. The winner here is actually MyRepublic, and a lot of people don't know about them yet, but basically they offer unlimited everything plans. So for $25 a month, unlimited data, unlimited text, unlimited calls. The only catch is that you only get 2 megabits per second as your speed, and the amount that you can share using a hotspot is limited. So having a look at that specifically, the $25 a month plan allows you to share 10 gigabytes of hotspot data at 2 megabits per second. So you might ask, how much can I do with that? Well, they listed here. You can pretty much do most web browsing, most music streaming, basic video calls, and even videos should work. You might have to buffer a little bit, but generally most use cases on the go would be perfectly fine at this speed. Then they offer $50 a month for 10 megabits per second, which is pretty much as you would need on a single device for most applications. And if you really want to go all out, you can pay $75 a month for just full on unlimited data max speed. But notice the hotspot data limits here, 10, 20 and 40 gigabytes, and we'll get to that in a second and see how that compares. Alright, moving along into the 4 gigabytes to unlimited category. Pretty much, once again, MyRepublic wins out here in every kind of category. Even if you need higher speeds, just go with MyRepublic. You can see all the details on screen. The only case that maybe you wouldn't go with MyRepublic is if you use your hotspot more than those plans allow. But in that case, I would actually recommend going with like a wireless broadband option where you have essentially a modem that connects to 4G and then you just connect to it as if it's a normal Wi-Fi network. That would probably end up working out a lot cheaper. So today's conclusion. First thing you should do is check your coverage. If you need specific coverage or 5G coverage, have a look at all 3 of the main networks, see what they offer in terms of coverage in your area. Second, if you barely use your phone and you just want to get away with spending as little money as possible every month, you can just use Warehouse Mobile and use their casual rates with a data pack, $4. Anything under a gigabyte, once again, Warehouse Mobile is the cheapest, just straight up monthly plan at $9 a month. For 1 to 2.5 gigabytes, Kogan Mobile is going to be a really good option here, and they even offer an annual plan. Yeah, Kogan Mobile offers an annual plan where you can actually save quite a bit of money, even though Kogan Mobile on the monthly plan is already the cheapest. You can save even more money that way. And lastly, anything more than 2.5 gigabytes to unlimited, MyRepublic is pretty much going to be your best bet. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. I hope that was informative, that you enjoyed it, and if there's anything that I missed or you have any questions, please leave your comments down below and I'll see if I can respond to them.